No matter where he goes, he always ends up proving that he's smarter than these people and he knows what he's doing. No matter where he goes. No matter who interviews him, he always is like five, six, seven chess moves ahead of these people that are interviewing him because he's so prepared. And Jimmy Dore, because he was so disrespectful, got Cornel West off his game. But that's because Cornel West is always operating from a space of good faith. And I'm gonna be honest with you. In this interview with David Doe for that Rational National channel, it is pretty good. You gotta give that dude credit. That show's good. Um, David is operating. David is operating in good faith. That's clear. But he just isn't prepared for the responses that Dr. Cornel West has. So we got a few pretty good clips. What's going on? We'll start with the beginning, but guys, as usual, please think for yourselves. This is my opinion. I am not gonna lie, I enjoy watching Cornel West debate a lot of these different interviewers about why he's running and why it's important that he not be running against Joe Biden in this particular race, and how how much of a threat Trump is. And please, guys, don't misunderstand. I think most people who support Cornel West understand the threat that Donald West that's funny, Donald Trump poses. Excuse me. I had a person tell me the other day. I asked him because I know he followed politics, and I said, "Hey, what do you think about Cornel West?" And he goes, "I think he's stupid. I think he's stupid, and I think he shouldn't be running, and I think he should know better. I mean, he's a smart guy." What you guys continuously don't understand is that men like Cornel West have been watching American politics play out the same way over and over and over again. And when I asked him, well, what's going to happen when it's not Donald Trump and we beat Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy is up next, or insert crazy Republican here is up next with all these extreme policies, and then we say, whoa, 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 we can't let this guy in. We have to vote for Kamala. When are we gonna stop doing that? And you, as a person whose family has come from this country for a very long time and dealt with the politics of this country for a very long time, and listen to the stories about what they feel about politics and how disenfranchised they feel. I don't know, man. I understand it. I do. I genuinely understand it. And that's why I'm 100% going to support Cornel West. And in the event that he's actually not on the ticket or something like that, then fine. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think more people are going to support this brother than you guys think. And he may actually be able to win. And he brings very clear realizations about what it even looks like having to run in the Democratic Party. So this interview was pretty good. I'll shut up and stop talking because, I want to hear my brother talk that and cook him up. This stuff be funny to watch, I'm telling you. These people are never ready.
You are about to watch my interview with Dr. Cornel West. I don't do many interviews on this channel, but he and his team reached out to me, and I thought, oh, well, hope you enjoy it. All right, I'm joined now by Dr. Cornel West, who, of course, is a philosopher, an author, and activist, and now a Green Party candidate for president, and we'll get a bit into that later. But Cornel West, thank you so much for joining the show.
No, well, thank you for having me, though, brother. Definitely, I salute you.
I think I'm pretty sure you're going to be the only presidential candidate I actually talked to on this show, so it's good to have you on. I'm sure Trump or Biden won't be coming on, but we got some issues to get into. So before we even get into the Green Party stuff, I do want to just get kind of your thoughts, just generally on how do you stay motivated, because this world is a hell of a thing. I mean, story after story, there's a lot of depressing stuff going on in the world. How do you manage over all these decades to continue up, your
vicious white supremacist practices? You go, oh, I'm overwhelmed by this evil, I can't take it. Well, no, this is the way the world is. Now, what you gonna do with it in light of the traditions, resources, stories, narratives that have been given to you by those who came before? But in the end, it's fundamentally about the love and courage more than anything else. And because I had it poured into me, I can't even take credit for it, though, man. Mom and dad's love, I didn't deserve that, man. I just showed up and it overflowed, you see. And so I'll never, ever have enough despair that would lead me to allow despair to have the last word. And that's true no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the conditions are. Because let's face it, man, nihilism is the largest movement in the world. The great Rabbi Heschel used to say nihilism is the largest ecumenical movement. And nihilism is what? Might makes right, manipulation, subjugation. It's cowardly, but at the same time, it's tied to the ego. It's tied to a narcissism. And so in that sense, the question becomes, well, what goes against that nihilism? Well, that's the hope, love, justice, social movements, friendships. I mean, all the things that go against the dominant ways of the world, because it's a cold and cruel world now, brother.
Yeah,
you know that. Oh, indeed.
So, for you, how does religion play into this? Because often the way we see religion portrayed, at least the dominant form of it in mainstream, is a very negative view. It's very much restricting of rights as opposed to celebrating our differences. How do you see religion different, and how does that play into your life?
Well, one, see, religion at its deepest level is about courage and love. I mean, as a follower of Jesus, when he goes into the temple and runs out the money changers, the largest edifice on the other side of Rome, 400 Roman troops are guarding that edifice. The disciples move away. He's by himself. And it leads toward crucifixion, right? So that he had a tremendous courage based on a commitment to poor people to run the money changers out. Not because he hated the rich, he hated greed, he hated avarice, and he hated cowardliness. So that prophetic religion is always about courage and love. That's Amos. That's Esther. You got to take a stand. And in taking a stand, you're not taking a stand for popularity. And most importantly, especially as a black man in America, it means that you're not on anybody's plantation. You see, part of the problem these days is that you got folk talking bad and acting as if they X or Y, but they still on the plantation, man. They got a Marxist analysis of everything but themselves because they still on the plantation, which means they still have this dogmatic allegiance. They still have this deep loyalty to an orthodoxy based on their livelihood, based on how they're going to make their money. And that's true in the professional managerial class. That's true in the lumpen professional managerial class. And to be a follower of Jesus.
So this is our progressive movement in its purest form. The social policies and issues, the deep, deep care and empathy and thought for those who are less than, while still incorporating a a religious foundation that incorporates everyone. Everyone. This is a progressive movement in its purest form, and it's crazy to me how people wouldn't want to support it. Now, Dr. Cornel West and David talks about climate, which is quite an interesting conversation. I appreciated it because ultimately it involves him taking an opportunity to talk about solidarity. Man, the dude makes it so easy. So easy.
The environment. I saw you recently at the big climate march. What are your thoughts on what needs to get to be done, or what steps do we need to get to be able to accomplish what needs to be done when it comes to the climate crisis?
Well, I think more than anything else, my dear brother Anthony Rogers has been really on top of this with me and for me, that we need to bring together what you saw last week in New York City was beyond climate emergency, it's climate catastrophe. That needs to be brought together with Stop Cop City in Atlanta. And it needs to be brought together with UAW strike, Hollywood strike, worker strikes. We have to have a solidarity and a coalition of people who can come together long enough to bring significant and substantive power and pressure to bear on the status quo that is characterized by massive organized greed at the top. The fossil fuel that we talked about in regard to climate, on the one hand, right? The militarized police that's tied to not just the government, but surveillance and national security systems. And it's international, right? It's not just Atlanta, but it's connected to various parts of the world, in Africa, Latin America, Israel, defense forces, all of them are tied into that particular way of militarizing the police, and they're all there together. And the same is true with UAW. Look at the level of greed.
Ties it all in together. Extremely, extremely smart opportunity to tie it all together. And I, for one, appreciated it. Because this man clearly has nothing to say. And not that he was trying to be combative or anything, but, the climate crisis is going to be a holistic challenge that we have to face together. Like, we are going to have to do everything in our power, domestically, internationally, with our industry. And I, for one, am nowhere near close to being a climate expert, but I know that it feels to me like the world's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, or colder and colder and colder, and it's tripping me the hell out. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm down to do whatever we need to do to fix the problem because I want to have grandkids one day. Like, please, if that's cool, I have to be selfish. So I think what he's going to talk about next is what people want and a actual desire for an alternative candidate. You see, he's covering all his bases even long before David DOEL gets to his main question, which is, why are you running? Aren't you worried about Trump? So, listen up.
On the status quo as host. But if it's about love and justice, it provides an alternative. See, people are hungry for an alternative. One of the reasons why fascism is so seductive to a lot of people is that it is a genuine alternative to a weak neoliberal order. And people are hungry for an alternative. Now, once they got it, like for example, Trump going down to Detroit a couple of days acting like he's pro-worker. Oh my God. It's more than a joke, it's just sick,
ridiculous,
pathological, right? But he presented himself as an alternative because the Democratic Party has been unable to deliver.
So that's
why, what we're trying to do in this campaign, which is nothing but a moment and a movement to provide an alternative.
Guys, he is our movement in its purest form, and we have a real opportunity to do what the crazy MAGA people did, except for we can do it better. We can do it for the sake of good. We can do it for better social policy. Like, guys, we can actually get behind a candidate. We don't have to deal with Joe Biden. And I would love it if there was enough solidarity to where we can actually win an election with Cornel West. And at the very least, guys, at the very least, walk away with a real movement. You know, gotta believe, yo.
So, but I want to get your thought. Like, is it possible for an activist to also be a politician? Can those two things coexist?
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. I mean, Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was an activist his whole life. And he was in Congress for 20 some years. Harold Washington was an activist, mayor of Chicago. Why? Because he always had an organic connection with the movement outside that gave him more wiggle room as he worked on the inside. Mm-hmm. Now, you're right. It's very rare that you get politicians who are activists. There's no doubt about that. Most politicians are just mediocre, milquetoast conformists, obsessed with status and concerned about the next election. Yeah. No backbone, willing to check and see which way the wind is blowing. Unfortunately, that's the level of politics we have. The great Saul Bellow, he's a fellow Canadian. He ended up in Chicago. He's a great novelist, deeply conservative brother that I have disagreements with, but he's a great novelist. He said politics is low comedy, especially in America. And it's true. It's true that for the most part. Mm-hmm. But there are a few exceptions, though, brother. Henry Gonzalez. I don't know if you knew Henry Gonzalez from Texas. He was in the House for 35 years. He was a great, great progressive. He's an activist his whole life.
Dr. Cornel West is familiar with it all. He has probably taken every calculation from watching as many people as he's seen do this constantly. I am almost positive he has thought about these questions that you're asking him over and over again before he thought to do this. He probably thought about it a million times when he worked on the Bernie Sanders campaign. I am sure of it.
Mission incomplete. We don't know what's going on in real time.
So
now I think we get to the main question.
Let's get really into your campaign now, because I'm curious. What is your goal with the campaign? Because, I mean, I'm not sure you can admit it, but you're not going to become president not based on the fact that you shouldn't be president or you don't have the talent or the knowledge to be president, but based on how the electoral system works, right? You got first past the post, you have the electoral college. Ross Perot won 18% in 92, didn't get one electoral vote. What is your ultimate goal with this campaign, knowing that you are not going to be the next president?
Well, I don't accept it. I have no chance whatsoever of winning.
That was him holding Cornel West accountable to his audience. Nothing more, nothing less. And I personally can't take it seriously. Well, you're not gonna win. So what's the purpose of this? What? Are you serious? The problem is that these people truly don't understand how deep the movement is. They don't understand the seriousness of it. They can't imagine a world where people are no longer willing to deal with this.
History is much more unpredictable than you're projecting, you see. History is unfinished and incomplete. We don't know what's going on in real time. We are witnessing the very slow but undeniable collapse of the Democratic Party.
That's a fact. That shit is falling apart.
We'll see what form it takes. Biden may not end up being the candidate at all. Who do they have on the bench? Not too many folk at all. The Republican Party's already been hijacked by Trump, so that the establishment in that party is long, long, long gone. And Trump may not be the candidate at all. Who do they have to fall back on? Hardly anybody. What happens in a moment in which both Trump and Biden are not there and the only three people, myself and two others? Let's go to the stage. Let's have a public debate. Let's travel the country. Let's see. You don't know, brother. You just don't
I
know,
feel
man.
like I do, but
no, I don't believe in closure, man. I don't believe in closure like that. We are running to win. Now, okay, now given the fact that you say, okay, let's just move from certainty to probability. There is a probability that you will not win. Of course, absolutely. But what does that mean? That means I have to bear witness to what is inside of me. There's no way I can remain silent given the corporate duopoly. There's no way I can remain silent when the two-party system is an impediment for the unleashing of democratic possibilities of poor and working people, not just here and around the world. There's no way I could sit back and simply be a spectator given what's going on, even in electoral politics. I never spectated in terms of social activism, but in electoral politics, you see. So what this campaign is about is, it is the spillover of the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Dorothy Day and Rabbi Heschel and Edward Said. What were they concerned about? Abolition of poverty.
He don't understand that though. I mean, he understand it, but he don't really like get it. You understand when you say it's the deep tradition of Fannie Lou Hamer and have Rabbi Heschel. Like for him, he ain't have to deal with that kind of poverty, or maybe he's just attached. I don't know, man. Like these people they can't believe it yet because they don't understand it yet. But I think for those of us who do, this is just our dear brother, unfortunately, just having to talk circles around him for practice.
They essentially could ignore you, and media could ignore you, and there's not much done there, right? So why do you feel like a Democratic primary run wasn't a more effective route?
Well, one, up to now, I haven't been ignored, as you know. I haven't been ignored at all. That there's been a whole lot of vicious attacks and assaults. I'm the menace.
Well, I mean,
constitutional order.
Yeah, they're either going to ignore you or attack you, right? Like that's kind of the strategy.
Well, no, but attack is not being ignored, though, brother. Let's just make that clear. Let's make a distinction here, right?
Get
But secondly, you see, the right and the Democratic Party is so overwhelming that there's simply no way that you can have a fair process in a primary.
He saw that up close
and personal. You're talking about getting ignored and dismissed. Look at RFK. Look at Sister Williamson. That's what it is to be ignored and dismissed. And they know that in a few months, Cornel. It's over for them because they've already rigged it in such a way. And you know my two campaigns with my dear brother Bernie Sanders, it was clear that they had rigged it. It was clear that they treated him unfairly.
Yeah, but you don't think a third party run is less effective? Like I would argue, I agree with you. Yes, the system in terms of the two-party system, in terms of the primary system, there is definitely a weighted scale there for sure. But that's right. You don't think that a third party is even less of a chance? I mean, Bernie at least was very close to winning the primary both times.
Yes,
when it comes to a Green Party run, you could still get like 20% of the vote and not get one electoral vote. So I would argue that it's more rigged against third parties than it is against primary runs.
Well, I mean, it's rigged against all poor and working people as a whole. I mean, you know that. I mean, what was it? I think as Emma Goldman used to say that if voting could lead toward revolution, it would be illegal. So the ballot is never the primary means by which you fundamentally change the society.
Yes.
You change society with waves of awakening, with consciousness raising that allows people to stand up and hit the streets and be willing to go to jail. That's what I mean by social movements.
That's what they don't understand. You see? See, for them, it's just protect us from Trump. For us, we've been dealing with Democrats ignoring us and feeling like this has been freaking elemental fascism for decades now. And I truly don't understand how people can't grasp this about why these people feel this way. You know? Like, how are you not empathetic to the issues that these people are having? Why they would even want to support Cornel West? And that's where Cornel West is coming from. And he saw it up close and personal. I just be paying attention and reading news articles and craziness like that. Like, this man worked with Barack Obama, worked with Bernie Sanders twice, helped build the People's Party, worked with damn near everybody in the social activist community. Like, the idea that you can tell him that this is a bad idea, it is, you haven't thought about it the way he's thought about it. But I'll leave you with the fact that the people decide ultimately what they want. And nothing was more true than that than in 2016 when Donald Trump ran. This is the era of Trump, you guys. All that old type of politics, that shit is out the window. I keep trying to tell y'all. And Cornel West, even if they slime him and he don't make it, he got a real thing going right now. I can't wait to see what happens. Center Podcast, please like, comment, subscribe. Guys, you got me way past 50 subscribers. 100% I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you. I can't even... Alright, so when I started doing this last year, I thought it would take me maybe a year and some change to get 50, 60 subscribers. But since I've actually put a little bit of effort and love in this, and I've actually been trying to build my Patreon so I can actually make... I keep saying actually, what the hell's wrong with me? I'll be able to make more content and bonus content so you guys can have more content to subscribe to and get more value out of the content, which I actually enjoy doing. So I appreciate you. I thank you. The next goal is 250 subscribers. I know. And I'm telling you, I have no real expectations that we'll hit that goal anytime soon. So please don't, you know what I'm saying? But if you watch our video, give a brother a subscribe. I appreciate the love. We're gonna keep on making content. Appreciate you. Support Dr. Cornel West's campaign. Go to CornelWest24, I believe, .org. Hold on. I'm subscribed through my email. Hold on, I'm almost positive. You know what I need to learn how to do? Go to CornelWest24.org. Donate. I'm not getting paid to say that. I just believe in the campaign. If you can't do anything else, donate, sign up, register to kind of give your time. I appreciate you guys. Fucking past 50 subscribers.